And this is what we have to do. You know, we have to recognize that this process has been shut down, and we have to find a way to encourage people to go through it. You know, one of the things that I think we're going to see over the next few years is more and more people declaring themselves to be the Messiah. Right? Why? Why? Because the Kundalini process is going to happen on a much more rapid basis, and people aren't going to be able to integrate the experience properly. And so they're going to see themselves as a special one. And of course, the real challenge then is, having declared themselves as a special one, is how they then go back and tell everybody, well, actually, I wasn't that special. You know, it's a process, and it's not an overnight process. It's not a Damascus-type process, or road to Damascus-type process. You know, it's, Stuart Wilde called it the 1,000-day process. You know, because you literally have to strip away everything you had been taught. And of course, these guys have the many, many years of experience of social conditioning. And so the challenge is to step out of that conditioning. But I think, you know, we're getting some clues that this process is happening and the chakras are being opened, and we really do have an opportunity to reconnect with our true selves. And these indications are coming at us from many, many ways. Doug and Dave provided us with a couple here. You know, look at the sign, the symbolism that is all around us. We are getting a lot of help. You know, and I'm sure every one of you here can recount stories in your life where, you know, basically, you know, once you've stepped beyond the secular, imperial, material world, that you find actually things can operate slightly differently. It's very difficult to take that step aside because we've been conditioned. You know, we have to earn the money. Not only do we have to earn the money, we have to earn more money. We have to buy more stuff. We have to get a bigger house, a bigger car. Bollocks. It's an amazing crop circle from last year. Absolutely determines the, you know, indicates the transformational process of stepping through the doorway. You know, I don't know what the hell is going to occur, you know, in the coming time. What I do know is, what I sense is that we are at a very, very significant juncture in human history. And maybe it's quite possible that, you know, we're still writing the next chapter. Because one of the things that's very, very interesting is that remote viewers cannot see beyond 21st of December 2012. You know, so maybe it's still being written. You know, maybe the way it unfolds is very much down to how we react to the challenges that we're now being faced with. You know, and the reality is here that I'm pretty damn sure that everybody in this room, you know, can actually, in one way, shape, or form, relate to what I'm saying. You might think some of it's a heap of crap, but, you know, fundamentally, I think you can generally relate to what I'm saying. And 4 or 5 years ago, it would have almost been unthinkable that we could have got this kind of number of people together 2 weekends on the trot, because last weekend I ran a similar event in Totnes. And here I am, you know, again in Liverpool. If it's Sunday, it must be Liverpool. And, you know, and I know we're going to the Sunrise Festival, and, you know, there's 2 or 3 tents that are dedicated to questioning the received wisdom there. You know, we have a tremendous opportunity to break these guys who believe that they are the rightful rulers of a global fiefdom. But there are a lot of things that we have to do, and I'm going to give you some ideas. Now, I don't think there's any great panacea here, because I think this whole process is very individual. You know, and by the way, this isn't something that we solve by forming a society or a group. You know, and in fact, the moment anyone says to me, "Oh yeah, Ian, that's great. You know, will you come and join our group?" Whoa, whoa, no way. You know, I run you know, look at my website. I say, Ian Crane is an independent researcher. You know, I don't take money from anybody. Well, except when they buy my stuff, but I don't take money from anybody, because that way, the only person that can infiltrate me is me. And my experience in setting up and chairing the 9/11 truth movement in this country, which fortunately, you know, is going very well. I mean, as is always the case with any group, you've got the internal squabbles. You know, and what I saw firsthand was how these guys actually create the internal squabbles so that groups become ineffectual. Amnesty International, Greenpeace, Oxfam, Shelter, all controlled opposition. The way forward is individual collectivism. You know, that's us coming together because we share a common bond, we share a common sort of philosophy, You know, we share the view that we want to go a way forward that's very different from the way these guys want us to go a way forward. And when we can work together, that's fantastic. And then we do our stuff, and then we go our separate ways. But there's some things that we absolutely have to do. Number one is we have to educate ourselves. I mean, like I say, don't regurgitate. If anybody just regurgitates what I've said, that's just lazy. You know? In fact, that's why I deliberately try and sort of stimulate some, discrepancy, if you like, between what you believe and what I've presented. Because I know if you agree with what I say, you're going to say, oh, yeah, I agree with that. But then if you think, oh, that guy, he's talking a lot of crap. Google, oh, yeah. You will check far more on things that you don't agree with what I said than if you do agree. But the criteria is that you must absolutely take responsibility for educating yourselves and recognize that whatever is coming out of the media, it's not that good. It's received wisdom, exactly. And watch your diet. These guys are shutting down your capability to reconnect with your true self by just literally putting crap on the shelves of supermarkets. Dr. Robert Verkerk, who's the chief executive of the Alliance for Natural Health, he's right on the front line of fighting Codex Alimentarius. And he has this amazing study from Poland. Poland's only been in the EU for a few years. How many years is it we've had the polls over here? That's how long they've been in the EU. And before Poland came into the EU, Poland was fundamentally a localized culture. Produce was grown locally, it was sold locally. What didn't sell locally was taken into the regional areas. And then there were local farmers who shipped stuff into the sort of bigger food stores in the city. They joined the EU. And by the way, everybody was pretty healthy, right? In many towns, you didn't have a doctor. Even in some of the smaller cities, doctors were few and far between. And the pharmacists, who generally prescribed homeopathic remedies, took care of people's health. Since we've been in the EU, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda, Inlight Flynn, buying up all the local food, shipping it out of Poland, ship all the irradiated crap in, and guess what's happened? Yeah, exactly. They're experiencing sickness in Poland like they've never known before, and who's there to ride to the rescue? Da-da-da-da! Big Pharma, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, all the companies that are in there. I mean, this is what the EU is all about. It's what Codex Alimentarius is all about. It's corporatocracy. Break it. Buy foods. I mean, even the foods that you buy in Tesco's that say that they're organic, go find a local small holding if you don't grow your own, which is obviously the primary opportunity. Grow your own if you can. But, if you're in a situation where you're living in a city, that may be not an option. But go find a place where you can get quality food that's not irradiated, that hasn't had pesticides and herbicides and every other bloody side put on it. And when you're sick, well, don't get sick. If you've got allergies or you've got things that you suffer from on a regular basis, go look at the natural options. The allopathic system is, we need you to get sick, so don't do anything until you're really sick. And then you go to the doctor, and then what do? They tap into a database now. What's the symptoms? Okay, Prozac. There you go, Prozac.